Awesome. Let's get it started. How is it going, everybody? Still some energy? Yeah, in the room. Okay. Cool. So let's for anybody that doesn't know Pedro, like quick round.
Super quick. So Pedro Wallet connects, we connect wallets as an interoperability layer. Pretty much enables the user experience on mobile and also the offer of a lot of EIPs and capes that around wallet experience.
Yeah, I'm Francesco. For anybody that doesn't know me, yeah, I'm part of the DevRel team at Consensus. So, and I've been doing like DevReling for MetaMask for almost 3 years, and I'm very excited about like developer onboarding, obviously like within SDK, within Snaps, and yeah, I think it's a great quality Fireside chat this because Wallet Connect has been around for ages and is integrating both mobile and web. I don't know, like since day
2018.
one, right? Yeah, 2008 win, right? Give us some like metrics around around that, like how what are the tooling that you are currently providing to both like developers for building the dApps?
Yeah, so the good thing about Wallet Connect being so widely adopted is that essentially creates a platform for all wallets to compete, and that also created an opportunity to essentially establish some standards, and that's something that we're working on very closely with the wallets, basically raising the bar. Because it's almost like if you want to be in the game, you better be like the best wallet possible. So MetaMask has like both the Chrome extension and the mobile wallet. And on the Chrome extension, we're not involved directly with that particular connection. But when it comes to mobile, Wallet Connect powers how MetaMask connects to mobile and other 500 wallets. So it's a lot of wallets out there. Obviously, there's going to be like the top 20 that are like mostly used. But this connection ranges between like 4 to 5 million users per month.
That's so cool. And actually, you guys being kind of agnostic to wallets, give you also like fresh perspective to drive kind of like the narrative. Like before jumping like around like user experience and onboarding, like what do you think like are the challenges today that both users and developer are facing when they are both building and both like using and interacting with apps?
Well, I think all of the time we're trying to redefine what the wallet is, and basically Wallet Connect is trying to connect wallets, but then if we don't know what the wallet is, like what the wallet was in 2020 is definitely not the same thing in 2024, and now everyone talks about account abstraction and smart accounts, and that's becoming more and more a common pattern. So Wallet Connect has to reinvent itself, and then wallets have to reinvent themselves, because what we define as like normal is no longer normal, it's just like legacy. So I expect the idea of us having to go to your wallet 5-10 times every time to approve transactions to just completely go away once we introduce the concept of like smart sessions that kind of just do everything for you on the background.
Yeah, I see a lot of customized behavior that changes over time. I remember like when you were onboarding on MetaMask, you were caring a lot about like how you were doing things, and now it's more and more about going in the direction of like smart accounts and having your gas fees like sponsored, starting to like batch transact for games, and I think this is a big behavior that changes. But what are those changes that you think like they really changed during the past years? Because 1 year in crypto is long enough, right?
Well, there's multiple problems, like gas abstraction is definitely the number one. We're actually working together with MetaMask on a standard for granting permissions from a wallet to an app. That way you don't have to return to your wallet to do anything else. But other problems that still exist today is the ability to interact with multiple chains without having to bridge your gas around. And that's a bigger problem even. There's some idea around how we actually can abstract gas to just not live in a single chain and just to live everywhere, so that you can essentially fund gas independent of what chain you use. But that requires essentially us to rethink what the wallet works, because wallets are expected to connect to one chain at a time, and in a sense you have to be connected to all chains all at the same time, and that's a big challenge. Wallet Connect has done some standardization around that, but it requires a lot of collaboration with the wallets themselves as well, including MetaMask.
Yeah. What you mentioned here also about the wallet, kind of like it's basically EIP for wallets, and I think it's a big thing because right now everybody can submit some EIPs for like standards on around wallets, and we need much more this kind of standardization, right? And for anybody that doesn't know, right, I'm also like a big fan around permissionless innovation. Everything is going around snaps because you're giving this power back to like the community, to developers, right? And what do you think about like, you know, this kind of involving much more the community to contribute to the feature extension of your product, and like how much, because I think like in the past 2 years we really saw a lot of like companies starting to say, hey, the community is giving feedbacks, but let's have a much more active community that is contributing code.
Yeah, I think it's feasible, and I think Snaps, what eventually will become is every wallet out there will become a smart account, and then these Snaps will essentially just be modules on top of these smart accounts, because for every module that you build on the smart account, you're going to need the UI for it. So if you already have the platform for the community to develop UIs, then building the modules is the easy part. Currently, our biggest challenge is not even like the wallet collaboration. Wallets have been incredibly collaborative in the last 2 years. Like something that I think it changed completely. It's way less competitive. It's way more collaborative. But now we actually are waiting for the Ethereum itself to upgrade. That's why everyone is like really excited about this particular EIP called 7702, because then this will essentially unblock all of the experience that wallets have been trying to devise, not just for smart accounts, but for every account. So basically upgrading the whole Ethereum at once. And that's going to be a big unblocker.
Yeah, 7702 is a big change, especially on if it's happening on a protocol level, because it's also like basically allowing wallets, or at least forcing wallets to like starting to get like those standardization in place. What other things are you excited about that are either happening on a protocol level, forcing wallet to make some changes, or on the standardization on the user onboarding?
I think one thing that also we're starting to get used to more is around the idea of passkeys being part of the stack, right? Because we always saw these announcements of passkeys coming from like Google and Facebook and Apple, and it feels like very Web2. But actually, these companies have like a large influence into how our hardware that we all use, like Android and Apple iPhones, like we could actually leverage that in our ecosystem. And even though Ethereum mainnet has not accepted these changes, like rollups have accepted this. Like on Optimism, on Scroll, and other rollups, you actually can use passkeys to sign transactions on the rollups themselves. And that's a big change, because now the security is no longer in, oh, you chose a bad wallet that doesn't know how to protect your key. It's the operating system. It's iOS, it's Android. Like, and that's something that we need to leverage a little bit more, because, you know, big tech has solved this problem. We just need to use it.
Yeah, and a lot of like, if you look at Web2 behavior, like a lot of like infra products, they're staying really behind, and right now you still need to interact with infra components. And I think like also Wallet Connect has been flourishing a lot around like developer tooling. What are the things that, you know, that do you see that need to happen in order to get, you know, not just the app developer more standardized with this tooling, but also like users that really like users have no idea what is happening in the background. Like what are like, and this is just a more broader like a question, like are there some modules that need to be developed around tooling that are more standardized? Because every ecosystem has different ones, and obviously with Snaps we're trying to bridge things, but you always have, you know, starting like Ardert Foundry for like EVM compatible stuff, and you have the version of other ecosystem, and you guys are being like bridging the entire ecosystem there, and I feel like you can really like build this narrative around developer tooling.
Yeah, so there's a reason Wallet Connect started in 2018 and we don't feel like the mission has been completed, because these things require moving a lot of pieces around. Like, we're not talking about just wallets, we're talking about infrastructure, we're talking about apps, we're talking about developers and users. And basically, the end goal is that people can just log into a website and they can press buttons that actually initiate transactions. And in order to do that, first we need to abstract how gas works everywhere. In order to do that, people don't need to be aware which particular chain it's going to be on. In order to do that, users don't need to carry a seed phrase. And I feel like in the last 12 months, all the legwork has been done to like create the foundation for that. But, you know, now it's actually the hard work of like aligning everyone's roadmaps, because even if everyone agrees on the mission, everyone has different incentives, everyone is a different company with different finance and everything, and we'll eventually converge into, okay, this is a priority, And that's why whenever something changes at the protocol level, it's a big motivation for everyone to move at the same time. So eventually we will forget about wallets.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. But this is something that we're seeing a lot around customized journey. That you will see a lot of more people, I don't know, like focus on like DeFi application. They want to just have, you know, like DeFi focused snaps, security focused snaps. So like the behavior are happening on different ways. And I think this is just feature extension. But I'm also like seeing a lot of like requests around UI components extension. And I really hope like, you know, something like that is coming on extensibility on the UI components, but having pre-installed, you know, could be pre-installed wallet or pre-installed things that people can just behave with on a much more customized way.
I think the ideal scenario is when we were able to copy how Meta accounts work, it would be amazing. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but like Meta has been trying to re-architect all of their apps, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, to all work under the same identity, same messaging layer, so it just feels like one big Meta identity. And that's possible because it's one big centralized company. But if Ethereum were to realize the exact same architecture, we would have won like the experience in the new internet. Because basically you would have an Ethereum account, and that Ethereum account might have different profiles, and then those profiles can be used. Oh, I want to look different on Instagram than Facebook, so you would do the same thing. I want to look different when I'm swapping tokens and when I'm selling NFTs, you know, and having this aggregation of a persona that owns different identities, all managed through smart accounts, would be like the new internet for real.
I mean, whose role is that, you know, to provide this kind of standardization and frameworks? Because on the EIP side, obviously, like EF is focused on that. But, you know, for example, we tried to build a full, like, dedicated standard API library that also even other wallets can use. But is this really the role of the single wallets, right?
I don't wanna sound like very selfish, but I think the role is of Wallet Connect, because Wallet Connect is not a wallet, Wallet Connect is not an app, but it does set the standard for wallets, because not a single wallet should build this idea of an Ethereum identity, and then Ethereum itself is occupied with scalability and security, and Wallet Connect can essentially be the meta wallet that is not a wallet, but it provides the infrastructure for all wallets to do the best experience. And then wallets can be focused on serving their customers best, building those relationships, acquiring new users, building social graphs, and create this like very diverse and competitive market, which is why you started this whole thing in the first place.
Yeah. So where are we at now, right? You guys provide like standard libraries for wallets to build on?
So right now we're very focused on this idea of granting permissions from the wallets into an app. That's the first path, and we're also working on granting permissions to a dApp, but then the dApp uses a passkey. But then we're pretty much in this pivotal moment, which is how can we gas abstract across all chains? Because we can gas abstract on a single chain, but not multi-chain, and that's something that hasn't been solved. And I really hope, let's be a little optimistic, by the end of the year will be solved. So that means next summer, actually. So by next summer, gas abstraction with like this idea of smart sessions with passkeys would be a big unblocker. And then we can start thinking about truly decentralized identity, because the infrastructure part has been solved.
I think also depends on like some industry needs this more, right? When you're looking at like gaming, I don't know if you remember, like with Dark Forest, like there is no way you can start doing batch transaction. There is no way to do every logins, every like signups need to happen, and you need to sign every transaction, right? So I think both sponsored and batch transaction in gaming especially is like something that people need to have as soon as possible, right? But are there other industry that you think like they will try to push to adapt a much more standardization around easier user onboarding?
I'm terrible at predicting trends, so I wouldn't even like attempt to guess it in any way. But if you think about it, a lot of industries don't even try to use blockchain because it's just not usable to them. So we just need to unblock new industries to explore this as a viable technology. So these industries will come, but they have took some time to analyze it, and they were like, this is not worth our time, and they didn't show up. So we're now kind of thinking, who's going to be next? We don't know, but they definitely looked online and they were like, we're not doing this. So we need to fix those problems so that these people can dedicate some time in building like truly innovative experiences that are chain native. That's not possible today.
Yeah. What, like, Web 2 wise, I mean, what are the Web 2 things that you think we should learn about? And I'm always trying to ask this question because obviously we're trying to push this Web 3 collaborative narrative. But when you speak about easier signups, like what are the components that you think we should actually learn from?
I think that to some extent the reason Facebook succeeded was not about tech, but because despite whatever you think about its founder, he really understood people, that people care about people, and it's all about people and their relationship to other people, and making everything a little bit more social. And when we say social apps, we think, oh, social media, posting a picture, blah, blah. No, every app could be way more social, could be way more engaging, could be just a little bit more relatable, because you are actually doing it not for the purpose of the app itself, but because your friend did it, or your family did it, or because you want to share it with others. So everything just needs to be a little bit more engaging so that you can share it within your social circle. And the reason we're not doing to that, I totally blame it on the infrastructure. Like, I wouldn't say it's because people are not creative enough, it's just the infrastructure was not flexible enough. So we're eventually going to make a more sociable experience in DeFi and NFTs and everything else, not just Farcaster and Lens.
Yeah, social on-chain is a big topic. But when you really realize, like, if Farcaster or Warpcast is usable, it's another story, right? But the full idea behind, like, all the social attestation, the fully like Web3 onboarding is a big, I think is a big success.
Well, yes, honestly, they did a great thing, but the idea of Farcaster would be even better if the Farcaster social graphs were actually being used in the Web3 apps themselves, and not everyone just recreating another feed. Like, because ideally, I can go with my ENS identity to all of these Web3 apps, and then my social graph follows me. I can actually be like, oh, I went to this like really cool new app, and 3 of my friends actually use it as well. I didn't know. That actually motivates me to try it a little bit more. Maybe I was gonna leave the website, but we're not actually leveraging that because that information is just sitting on Farcaster.
There are some cool, let's say, consecutive use case. For example, like this kind of NFT ticketing you're getting like in different signups meetups. So you basically leveraging the fact, because if you're going in Web3 NFT ticketing system, I don't know how usable are things. The fact that we're using Luma to sign up, is another story. Instead, like doing like stuff like unlock or something. So there is a lot of lesson learned also, but we are always going back to, it's not just a product game, is a fully like community and ecosystem driven game, and it's not just about the product feature that you're shipping.
Yeah, but even Luma could theoretically just post their stuff on Farcaster. Like, I don't think it's a scalability problem. It's just they don't care enough.
It's even a usability, right? Yeah. If you're trying to get a meetup sign up through, I don't know, when was Farcon happening, like you can not start doing like batch approvals. I don't know, like you need to basically re-implement everything. And I don't know, like back at ETHCC last year, Unlock was being used for issuing NFT tickets. You remember? Yeah. And it crashed everything, right? And I wish like people, especially for a specific use case, they are caring more about the UI components and for onboarding users. But I mean, one step at a time, right? Is a marathon, not a sprint, right? And,
well, in Web3, it mostly feels like a sprint that you do it for years and years and years until you burn out.
Yeah, let's not burn out, guys. I think you guys have any questions?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
maybe one question. Yeah, I can throw this mic now.
Check. Okay, cool. This is cool. Okay, I'm Jacob. I was wondering if Wallet Connect or MetaMask are thinking about like how rollups play a key, like a sort of like a role in account management. So whether that be like key store rollups or like One Balance's new, or Frontier Research's new One Balance product. How do you guys see like rollups playing a factor in, I guess, account management?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased because we have Linea, right, under the consensus arm, so it's fully ZK EVM that works with MetaMask as a kind of like preset network. On the other question, on the kind of like the session key management, like passkey, there is some stuff happening. Also, what we're working on stuff like delegatables. That's something that we will talk also like in the afternoon in this MetaMask Spotlight event. And it's a big topic because I think like both sponsor transaction, delegating accounts request, social recovery, like done this on a much easier way is a big part of the game, and we're top of it. In the same time, we don't want to just build stuff natively and integrating features natively. We want to also like leverage the fact that there is a community willing to like build an advanced Web3 through like snaps. Snaps are fully permissionless. So if you go to the wish list right now, you can just see like a bunch of like different snaps being built from the community. We're not doing anything. But from day one, you're able to have in 2 steps these snaps pre-installed, and automatically you can do BTC native transaction or Solana native transaction, or maybe like security feature update, like when you're interacting with a specific contract address, you have some kind of like malicious flags or something. So extra features, they're extending the functionality. And I will not be surprised if there will be much more focus around account abstraction snaps, like very specific use case, like like social recovery, or like even like for gamers. Think about that you have some kind of snaps doing batch transaction, or like we have already this kind of wallet-to-wallet chat for gamers that you can add this snap and automatically you can start chatting between addresses. So it's not like a WhatsApp thing. It's really like every transaction that you send is already encrypted, right? So instead of sending like money, you're basically sending data strings, and it's like a chat-to-chat. So this kind of use case that will happen both natively, but both on a snaps level.
Well, I would say that rollups will eventually become what app chains were like when it's in the whole Cosmos philosophy. But then one thing that will eventually also happen is like this idea of resource chains, like the Keystore rollup or the One Balance rollup, like an idea of a rollup that it serves as a resource for the app chains, right? So eventually this idea of generalized chains will eventually fade away because it's not really scalable.
Got it. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Any other questions? Or we are rolling it up. The temperature now is much better. We can do another 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, 2 hours
okay.
like that.
I think it's good. Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome,
And,
thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Pedro.